is online gambling and really a very big thing in Philippines?
Yes, it is. It is very rampant now in the Philippines right now. It's sad a bit that people, I mean, the content creators and the influencers are giving people a lot
Promoting.
of promoting.
You're listening to Planet Neighbours, a podcast that explores what life is really like for ordinary people around the world. I'm your host, Syriac, and together we'll step beyond the headlines to hear everyday stories that connect us all on this one shared planet. Welcome again. Today we are going to do the second series of Planet Neighbors in Philippines. We have a friend here, Maynard, because we didn't get enough to talk to him about. We spoke a whole bunch of things, but there was so much more to explore about Philippines, and this is why we do Planet Neighbors, because there's so much to learn about what life is really like for people over there. So, last time we kind of like skirted some of the stuff about food and politics, but we didn't really like dig into all of those topics in the really depth and curiosity that we like to typically do. So, welcome again, Menard. How are you doing today?
So I'm actually good right now. How about you, Joseph?
It's great, and I see that your room, like unlike last time, is I can see the window outside is much darker. So folks, Philippines is 12 hours ahead of
Ahead.
all of us here in the U.S. Not all of us, but on the East Coast, and so it's 7 in the evening for Maynard. Maynard is here today on. It is Saturday night for you, Maynard.
Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah, so you're staying at home and trying to educate people about Philippines instead of going on a date in a jeepney. So we truly appreciate you
All
for
right.
that. So
No worries. No
we
worries.
were kind of digging in last time about Sara Duterte, Bongbong Marcos, and the Lenny, and so I had an interesting time doing some like research on it,
Okay.
and you know one of the things that people are that is covered right now today is that Sara Duterte basically came on television and said if she dies, she has taken out a contract killer who is going to go after Bongbong Marcos from the grave.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
and
true.
then when someone said, "Is that that's terrible thing to say?" She said, "Is it wrong for a dead person to kill someone else or something like that?" She said, which was like, have they all give us a little bit stepping back and give us a little bit of the history from say from Ferdinand Marcos, right? Who was I think a president from 1960s or whatever,
Yeah,
if
it's
I
too long.
something like that. Tell us a little bit about, from that time and then Ferdinand Marcos and how that happened and how we are today where we are. And also tell us about the other great character that people know about, which is Rodrigo Duterte. And sorry, he didn't pass, but he is sitting in a jail in
Yeah.
Hague. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about that history.
So I'm not really into like histories before, but there's a lot of movies going on, like how Ferdinand Marcos lived before, how he ended up as a president and etc. So basically, Ferdinand Marcos before is a dictator. Is a dictator. He kills people a lot. He enjoys killing people. I don't know. It's just that every most of the people hate him, and I mean, I think it's 50-50. Like there's 50% who loves Ferdinand or 50% who hates Ferdinand because of his doings and what he did to our country. So
Well,
yeah.
let me stop you there. Like if you say he was a bad man and he killed all these people, but you also told me last time that you actually voted for his son to become president. So how do these two contradictions like come together?
So as a Davaoenyo, that's what we are called here in our place, like Davao
A
City.
what? A what?
Davaoenyo.
Oh, Davao
Davaoenyo.
Vineyard. Okay, yeah. People
Yeah.
who live in Davao,
Yeah.
Davao
So
City. Yeah.
basically, we support Sara Duterte.
Hmm.
Bongbong Marcos allianced with Sara
Sara.
Duterte. So most of the people think that the I mean, Rodrigo is known for as a playmaker. He knows how to play politics.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought everyone thought that if Marcos won, Sara Duterte would lead the presidency. I mean,
Yeah,
Sara would be the mastermind of everything. So basically, we were just scammed. Bongbong Marcos,
I see. I
yeah,
see.
Bongbong Marcos scammed us. Like he made the call that Rodrigo must be prisoned and etc. So I don't know. Every one of us are in a bit
I
of shock.
see.
And
So he basically he made this alliance and tricked everybody. Not everybody, but the people who have been typically wouldn't have voted for him kind of ended up voting
yeah,
for him.
yeah,
Am I right in saying that?
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
So most
That's
of the
correct.
supporters now are regretting.
Right.
Everyone is regrets right now.
So just for like context, because I think it's good for people to kind of see what we're talking about, right? Like this is Philippines. I'm just going to like zoom out a little bit, right? And this is Manila, the capital of Philippines. And
Yes,
am I
yes.
right in saying that uh, Davao is somewhere here, or is
No,
it
it's the bottom part of the Philippines.
here?
There you go.
Oh wow. So like it looks like this island is the Luzon is one and Mindanao is the other. Like these are the
Yeah,
two big
correct.
population centers, and and what I feel you saying is the Duterte clan is strong here.
Yeah,
And
in
would it be fair
Mindanao
to say the
and
Marcos
yeah,
clan is stronger on the top? Not
not
necessary.
really, not
Okay.
really.
Okay. I see. Got it. But would it also be true? And this, this is one of the things that across the world that, for example, in America, the commercial capital is New York, the
All
power
right.
capital is DC. Is that true in saying that Manila is kind of the power capital and Davao is like a commercial capital?
I
Not
mean,
necessary.
not necessary, but in
Okay.
a sense that the White House is kind
Right.
of located there, and mostly that's why the Luzon is prioritized. Like they
Mm-hmm.
are being industrialized because the White House is located there. So yeah,
Right, right. And just for context here, folks, Davao City is like a small, I wouldn't say small, it's quite a big city, but it's kind of located in the south of Philippines on an island called Mindanao. Am I right in saying that?
yes, yes,
And it's in a bay called that or Davao Gulf is kind of where it is. It's also a reasonably large port and one of the bigger population centers in the south of Philippines
yeah,
versus what most people would have heard of is Manila, which is kind of in the north of Philippines in the island called Luzon. So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
just for context. But Philippines is basically, for people who don't know, is also a archipelago or kind of like connected to a bunch of um, is a collection of a bunch of islands
Islands. Yeah,
in the south. What do you call this? The Celebes Sea, which is the South China Sea, and it's for context, it's just northeast of Indonesia and southeast of China. And south of Taiwan, actually. So, and that's another thing we might talk about later about how's it going with China? And what do Filipinos think about that? Because that's been a thing. So, like coming back to from Ferdinand Marcos, tell us a little bit about what you, as a young Filipino who never experienced Ferdinand Marcos' rule directly. Everything that you know about Ferdinand Marcos is what's written in the books and what perhaps your parents taught you. So, what do you know? What do you remember about Ferdinand Marcos and Imelda Marcos?
so Imelda Marcos was the first lady, and I mean, my parents always telling me before that Ferdinand Marcos is a great president.
Mm-hmm.
Though because before there's no internet, there's
Right.
no resources.
Right.
So basically, if you break the rules, you will die. You will really die. That's why they kept telling us that just don't break the rules and you will be safe and
Mm-hmm.
you will be a normal Filipino. But if you need a justice in the Philippines, you really you really turn your back in your president, since the president is the one who is making the extrajudicial killings, the human trafficking, and etc. So like that's what our parents keeps on telling us.
Yeah.
Only the outside, not the inside of of the President Marcos. Like
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
it's so broad.
Yeah.
You can just I don't know. I can't put it into words. I'm just kind of like angry to him, like the
So
other things.
so that's interesting that because outside in the rest of the world, Ferdinand Marcos was known for all of the things that you are saying, right? But it's
Yeah.
interesting to see that your parents who grew up in that time saw him as a great president who was maintaining
Yes.
law and order, right?
Yeah.
And made sure that everyone stayed in this. So,
Yeah.
kind of coming from there, you had a whole bunch of other presidents kind of coming through to, the stage where we are in, where Bongbong Marcos has now become president, right? Now, is it true that Filipino presidents can only rule for 6 years? Is there some rule like that? Presidents, right? Like that generally they're allowed to like run for or like hold office for about 6 years and then you have to go. So I think my one question here for my understanding, because some of it is not making sense to me. For you were a supporter of Sara Duterte.
Yes.
Am I right? Right?
Yes.
And Bongbong Marcos decided to do an alliance with Sara Duterte, and therefore people voted for Sara. But isn't it also true that Bongbong Marcos has his own substantial number of supporters? Because if it didn't, Sara would not have made an alliance with him. Would it be right to say that? Like, it's not that like Bongbong Marcos doesn't have any political power or appeal.
Yeah, actually, you have actually a point, but I think yeah, there's a lot of Bongbong Marcos supporters also, but still the Duterte, oh my god, still the Duterte administration outnumbered all the supporters of Bongbong Marcos. So yeah, I think
Right.
you have a point also. So, but nowadays, like most of the supporters of Bongbong Marcos are mostly the older ones,
Mm-hmm.
since they noticed how great
So
Ferdinand
yeah, yeah,
Marcos is.
Ferdinand Marcos. So actually, the difference really, if you look at Filipino politics, Sara Duterte appeals to the younger audience
Yeah, yeah.
versus um like Bongbong Marcos appeals to the more older people like your parents who think Ferdinand Marcos did a great job,
Yes, that's correct.
right? And so that I wanted to show people who Sara Duterte is, and Sara Duterte, she looks relatively like young, like she looks like maybe in her 40s or 50s. So she was
Yeah.
born in 1978 according to Google. She's 47 years old. Is she married? Does she have kids? She's a Filipino lawyer, apparently, and she's the third female vice president, and the third vice president to come from Mindanao, is the youngest vice president in Filipino history. So that's pretty cool. And then I want to say what is who's Bongbong Marcos. I want to show our viewers who Bongbong Marcos is. So this is Bongbong Marcos, right? And he's the second child, and and the only son of the 10th president, and as Maynard explained, the big dictator of Philippines. I think if people remember, at least those who were around when they remember, Imelda Marcos, the first lady, was known for collecting huge amounts of shoes and clothes. She was really stylish. And I mean, it is claimed that the Marcos family stole almost like $10 billion from the Philippines economy over the 20 years that he was done. So it is surprising that his son today. Okay, so I was, we were talking about Sara Duterte, and it looks like, let me actually share my screen with people. So this is Bongbong Marcos, and he was the second child and the only son of the 10th president of Ferdinand Marcos and former First Lady Imelda Marcos. Are there stories your parents talk about Imelda Marcos's shoes and clothes?
Uh, I think, like, what do you mean, shoes and
Well,
clothes?
apparent what we outside in the outside world remember of Imelda Marcos is the amount of money she stole from the Philippines as a nation, and how much of that money was used to buy really expensive shoes and
Oh,
clothes
there.
and style herself. Do
Yeah,
people
I've
talk
heard.
in Philippines about that?
Yeah, I've heard of that. Like, she's the one who's telling Marcos to, to be a corrupt. Like, I mean, one of the reasons why Ferdinand Marcos also a corrupt president because of Imelda. More like a
Right, right.
mastermind. Yeah,
So she was the mastermind, and then Ferdinand was the one who kind of like followed
the
her.
toy. Yeah.
Right, right. All right. And so this is Bongbong, and then this is Sara Duterte, right?
Yes.
So why do people like her more?
For me,
Because
I like.
let me ask you why I'm saying that, because this right here is Rodrigo Duterte, right? He
Yes.
is the father of Sara Duterte. Is
Yes.
Yeah, tell us a little bit, because I think the context I have, uh, which is why it's like I want to explore this. Why is Sara Duterte still popular when her father, at least in the rest of the world, was considered a really bad person? So, is that true or it's not true? Tell us a little bit about what the average Filipino thinks about the Duterte family.
So basically, Rodrigo Duterte is being a mayor here ever since. I mean, a long time ago. So basically, there's a political dynasty going here in Davao City where Sara became a mayor also here. So one of the safest place is Davao City, and only Rodrigo Duterte made that happen here in
Mm-hmm.
Davao. So
So before that, what was going on? What was the kind of crimes that were happening in Davao City
Davao City
before?
is one of the place where you can just buy drugs anywhere. You can just see the robberies outside. You cannot go out late at night. You cannot do anything. You're not that free here in Davao. That's what my parents told me before when they were living here. So yeah, that's
I
basically it.
see.
So yeah.
Right.
So only Rodrigo Duterte made that happen, that he made Davao City the most safest, one of the most safest city in the world, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think that can be in dispute whether it is safe, but it is safe. Like, people can go around and people can do things,
Yeah,
right? So that's that's
you can do
that's
anything
that's
in
what
there.
you're hearing. So, but then I think the question is, so Rodrigo Duterte, great. Why? What's so great about Sara Duterte? What has she done that you choose to support her? Do you choose to support her because she is the daughter of Rodrigo Duterte, or does she have any claim to competence and politics of her own.
For me, that's why I supported Sara Duterte because he is like a mirror of Rodrigo Duterte. She is strong.
She is. Yeah,
Yeah, she
yeah,
rather.
yeah,
She is
yeah.
a mirror of Rodrigo Duterte where she is so strong,
Hmm.
independent, and
Yeah.
he thinks like Rodrigo. Like even though Rodrigo is not the mayor here in Davao, Rodrigo told us like he is scared if Sarah
Hmm.
rules may as a mayor in Davao City because if Duterte can kill a lot of people,
Yeah.
Sarah can do it more. That's what he said to us.
So is there? You think she is capable of like? Has she actually? You think she's probably has hired a contract killer if she to bump off Bongbong if it ever came to that? Like
Well,
people, do people take that seriously, or was that just like a,
no, that's just
she
a
just
joke. That's just a joke. But as it's like an analogy where you know Sarah is stronger than Rodrigo, like that.
right, right.
So that's
Well,
how.
well, coming back to this, the other thing I saw in that little documentary about Philippines government, and I think that people, if you're interested in digging more into like the current state of Filipino politics, there's a great video by Bloomberg Originals, and that kind of talks about the current state of it. Now, one of the other things that we as Americans are thinking about, right, in the context of Filipino politics is what we've heard is that Sara Duterte officially is neutral between US and China.
All right.
And the Marcos family has always been close to the United States. And
Yes.
so Bongbong continues the policy of appeasement to the United States. So I think my two questions to you, right? For Filipino people, what do they think of the United States? What do they think of China?
So for what I've heard from my friends, from the Facebook, from the social media, most of the Filipinos kind of treating America as one of the enemies. Like as per what happened before, like America attacked the Philippines. It's one of the reasons why. And the Filipinos thinks that the United States are just only using us. Like they're
Mm-hmm.
using us as a battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they fight against China, the Philippines would be a battlefield for them. They will just
Yeah.
use yeah. So like the Filipinos
Yeah.
thinks like
Can I just stop you? Can I minute here?
all right, sure.
May not, because I think it's really good for people to understand why Philippines is crucial geopolitically. The first thing is that the Philippines is located south of Taiwan in the South China Sea. And so traditionally, I think people may not know, but the United States has had used Philippines as a bulwark to even station troops. Do they still hold American troops still have a base in the Philippines?
I'm not so sure with that though, but I think there is
Okay,
still.
but there was a time when they did have some kind of military presence in the Philippines, and that
Yes.
was kind of used as a counter for China and also to keep very important trade routes in the South China Sea protected for US interests. So I think that's what you're talking about, Maynard, is like
Yes.
basically this thing. And I think it's also important in this context that Taiwan is one of the biggest suppliers of semiconductor chips via a company called TSMC. And the foundry for that is located in Taiwan. And literally, it controls the entire, at least for now, a substantial portion of the chip manufacturing across the world. And if China was to take that over, that would make it really difficult for any other country to create any technology product. Or that is, simplify this, but like this is the risk. And that's why Taiwan is like a very crucial part of the global economy, and that it should stay within the Western influence, power of influence rather than China. So what you're saying is that at least for most people in Philippines, there is a strong anti-US sentiment, at least on the political level. Am I right in saying that?
In a sense, yeah, but that percentage of people here in the Philippines, most of them are the older ones. but the
Oh,
younger
I
ones
see.
enjoys the US people.
Okay, so that's interesting too. So, but because that was what I was asking, like it looks like from our previous conversation that Philippines is that Filipino young Filipinos really look towards American culture and to like follow that, and of course a lot of them it's not just Tagalog. A lot of people speak English also pretty well. Am I right in saying that?
Yes, yes, correct, correct.
Would it be safe to say that if people went to the Philippines, they are more than likely to find someone who would speak good English?
That's 100%.
Right,
We have that
right,
subjects English. Yeah.
right. So you're saying the older people are kind of more like have an anti-US sentiment because perhaps of Ferdinand Marcos, because of the war, versus the younger people don't have that baggage, correct?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I somehow agree
Right.
with that.
So okay, so that's America. What about China? What do Filipino people think about China?
So in China, I think people really the older people love China since Rodrigo is somehow connected with them. Like we have good relationships with them. But for the younger ones,
Yeah.
somehow they don't like China because of the scams, the human trafficking that they did here in the Philippines before, like the Pogo. I don't know if you heard about Pogo. It
No,
existed
tell
in
tell us a little bit about that.
so Pogo is a scam here in the Philippines where uh most of the Chinese people here has what do you call this, like a casino where they scam
Nice.
Filipino people. They rob Filipino
Like a legal casino or a illegal casino?
illegal casino. They have
Illegal casino. All
actually
right.
they
Yeah.
have one island, one island here in the Philippines that most only Chinese people and the Filipino people scammers live. Like there's one island here in the Philippines.
Yeah.
That's
What
how
is that
really
island called? What is that island
I
called?
forgot that though.
Okay.
I haven't.
No, no, that's okay. Carry on. Don't worry about it. That
Okay.
we can always dig that later. Yeah. So
So
there is this island, and so there is a pogo business, and a pogo is basically an illegal casino
yes,
generally run by the Chinese to, and the feeling is that they take a lot of money away from the native Filipino Tagalog people.
yeah. So Pogo is a Philippine offshore gaming operator. So that's the meaning of Pogo, the Philippine offshore gaming operator. So like it's like an
Mm,
online games, online
yeah.
casino where like Filipinos are known as easy to manipulate. That's how easy they are. If
So
there's
is
money,
online gaming, is online gambling and really a very big thing in Philippines?
yes, it is. It is very rampant now in the Philippines right now. It's sad a bit that people, I mean the content creators and the influencers are giving people a lot
Promoting.
of promoting people to go play those games, and it's one of the reasons why people get depressed, gets more poor. I don't know. So
Mm-hmm.
sad.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. Oh
So yeah.
man. Okay. So yeah. I mean, it's gambling is a big problem here in the United States, and
Okay.
yeah, and I was recently actually talking to someone in Brazil, and they also were talking about online gambling and how how serious a social issue it has become. So okay, so anyway, coming back to China, so there is that anti-China thing, but you're also telling me that older people have a better opinion about China. So
Yes.
how do these two things kind of come together?
I don't know. It's uh I don't know if it comes together,
Mm-hmm.
but there's a lot of issues here in the Philippines where parents and their children separates because of the political issues. Like
Mm-hmm.
parents, the children are now turning their back to their parents because of how they think, because of how parents keeps on telling them like you should vote for this, you should vote for him, you should vote like that.
Yeah.
But the younger ones are more media, more more on media literacy. Like they know how things
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
They have researched everything. There's the statistics, but
Hmm.
I don't know. That's why
I get it.
politics is kind of confusing now here in the Philippines.
Right. So I think the broader question for people sitting here is, if one day Philippines became closer to China than to the US, would that be acceptable? Do you see a day when that would happen? That Philippines would say, you know what, like I don't see why we're so sucking up to the United States. It's better that we be with China. You think that is a
For me,
possibility?
I think there would there would be no possible. There that is not
Day that will
possible. I
happen.
think. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
that will never happen.
And curiously, I'll ask you, in your understanding of the United States and China, which one do you think is a, if you had to, let's say, let's say English, so that's fine.
Yes,
But let's say you also knew Mandarin, right? And you had a offer for the same job in the United States or China, and you had a chance to like immigrate there and go and work on that job. Which country would you choose?
I would go for United States. Since China and the Philippines kind of thinks the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like as per attitude wise,
Yeah.
we have the same traits, and that comes with the bad traits. So I think
What are the common bad traits? What are the common bad traits between Chinese and Filipino people?
on how they think highly of themselves. I guess one of the traits, the
Mm-hmm.
bad traits of the Filipino and the Chinese ones, because there's a lot of conflicts here when it comes to Chinese and Filipinos when they encounter each other here. But for the foreign people like the US, like example in our school we have US people, they they come together. The Filipino and US really come together because they think the same way in a positive way, not in a negative
Right.
way. So yeah. So
So,
I think
okay, so well, that brings us to a even more interesting topic that is in people's minds, which is, Trump has put a lot of tariffs on Philippines, even though supposedly United States wants to be close to Philippines to be having its presence in the South China Sea. And that's another thing I kind of heard in that documentary, is that at one end, United States is leaning on Philippines to have control in the South China Sea. At the same time, they put some 19% tariffs on it, and that actually has helped. Sara Duterte has been using that, oh, look, like we should be neutral, and like you can't rely on the United States as a friend. So, what do people in Philippines think of Mr. Trump?
well, here goes another one. Older people and younger people really thinks differently. So I
Huh.
have an uncle.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I told him like, Uncle, Donald Trump really put tariffs, 50% tariff in Brazil and etc. Like, and I shared a lot of news
Hmm.
about US with him,
Yeah,
but he just told me that he's just trying to make America great again. Like Donald Trump is doing that just for the US, and he
yeah.
really loves Trump. He really loves Trump. Like then I asked
So,
my
well, so let me stop. So that's your uncle, right? And
yes.
putting aside the fact that like we have these conversations, but putting that aside, like let's say your young friends, what do they think of Trump? Like, so the older
So
people are in support of Trump. What about young people? Are young people in support of Trump?
so the younger people. So I asked my brother's girlfriend. She's
Yeah.
around 25 years old. She is a registered nurse in the United States right now. So I just told him that I told her like, uh, Trump, like Trump said that you will pay this kind of amount per year as a Filipino worker there. What do you think? Like, and then she just ranted about like how bad Trump is and etc. Like, you know, if you compare
Yeah.
younger and older ones, they really think the same because of the media. So yeah,
Right.
that's
Right.
it.
Right. Wow. Okay. That is. I think we really covered Filipino politics and Filipino perception of the United States to some degree. I heard a lot of dogs barking outside
Yeah,
Maynard.
I'm so
This,
sorry about that.
are these street dogs or is that your dog?
It's our dog. It's our dog.
It's your dog. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Do
We
you have
have
a lot of
five.
street dogs? You have five dogs?
I have five dogs in our house right now.
Wow, that's cool. Like, is that normal for having that many dogs in Filipino families?
I think so,
Or
but
are you a family of dog lovers?
kind of. But we have two girl dogs here inside and a boy dog outside. So when a dog gets out in the house, then something happens. So they multiply. That's how we got five dogs here.
Oh,
So yeah, that's
so generally people don't neuter their dogs in Philippines.
not really.
Okay,
They get pity. So like they don't want
so
to.
uh,
It's animal
so
cruel.
do you have a lot of street dogs in Philippines?
A lot. There's a lot. There's a lot of dogs. Street dogs here in
There's
the
a lot of
Philippines.
street dogs in Philippines.
Yes.
So right, okay. And are there cases when the dogs have attacked children and people and so on and so forth?
Yeah, actually my dog attacked the JNT rider here, like the delivery rider. But yeah, my brother
That's not too bad.
has been beaten by a dog before. A lot of
Yeah.
street dogs. There's a lot of
So
cases.
what is the government doing to control this situation with
Actually, there's so far I've heard of none. There's no
so they don't have a they don't yeah, go ahead.
they didn't focus more on that kind of aspect. So there's a lot of because of a lot of going on here in the Philippines. So I guess I don't know. They didn't give any attention into that. So
Yeah,
yeah.
because like in India at least now there is like in every municipal zone there is a like a dog department or a dog catching department.
Yeah.
And many places, and some places they are very cruel, and in some places they have a more compassionate view to it. And so,
All right.
like one of the things they do is sometimes they euthanize the dogs, but in most cases, like at least in India, they neuter the dogs so that they don't
Okay.
reproduce,
All right.
with the hope that eventually the street dog population can be controlled. And of course, the other thing is trash, right? Like if there's
Yeah.
if there's food and trash out there, then so is Philippines generally, is there a lot of trash in Philippines? Or is it generally clean?
Not in all of the places here in the Philippines. There are cities that really mitigated the trash issues. They
Mm-hmm.
have this good garbage uh dumps. Like there are a lot of youth right now that's been focusing a lot on the trashes, but in general, still there's a lot of trash here in the Philippines. So that's it.
So what is the trash system like in the Philippines? So like say, is there a trash truck that comes every week to collect trash?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
How
Here
does it
in
work?
Davao, the trash, like the truck that gets the trash here go around every Thursday. They go here every Thursday morning, then
Mm-hmm.
puts it in the you know the where the place they put every trash. But here in Davao, they put it in the sea where there's a good trash bin here. I forgot
There's a
how we
trash
call it.
bin in the sea. What does that mean? There's a
I mean,
There's a
there's
trash
a
there's a trash bin in the sea,
no,
or
no,
they
there's
just throw it away, or what do they, or put it in an island? Like,
yeah, I think I forgot. I forgot how
okay,
to call that.
but okay, like like you get a bunch of kitchen trash, right?
Yes.
Do you bag it? What do you do? Do you put it in a bag?
Oh yeah, so you put it in a sack, then
You put
put it just out put it just outside the house. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, and then they just come and they pick it up by the hand and they put it into the trash truck.
Yes, yes, that's it.
Okay, and then they take it away somewhere, and it
And
goes
yeah,
somewhere
and
out
they
into
recycle
sea.
the yeah, yeah.
Right. Oh, so there is a, do you separate out your trash, recycle versus other
Not
materials?
really,
No.
not really, not really.
Okay. Okay.
Only in
So then
schools. Only in
obviously
schools.
only in what?
Only in schools. Like we were practiced to do that.
Only in schools. So obviously then a lot of the trash is being manually separated then, right? Like it
Yeah,
must
I think
be.
so. Yeah, yeah, mostly.
And like, let's say now here's another question I have for you. Let's say it's batteries or electronics or some kind of like hazardous material. Does that go separately or does that also go into the trash?
Yeah, it goes to the trash. Like
So
we put it.
everything goes in one place.
Yes.
So in the bulbs that you use right now in your house, do you have, can I see the bulb that you have in your house? Do you
Yeah,
have a
sure.
CFL bulb or do you have an LED bulb? What do people use?
I
What
think
is a
this is the
common light bulb?
right now. We are transitioning into LED bulbs. So I'm using
Okay.
an LED bulb right now, like at the top.
Right, but can you still buy a CFL bulb?
Yeah, they're still in the store right now. They're still available.
So technically, you could take a CFL bulb and throw it in the trash because there's nowhere to go
Yes.
with it. Okay, wow,
Yes.
that's crazy. You know how dangerous those are.
Yeah, yeah, it is.
They
That's why
contain
I'm using
mercury,
LED.
so yeah. Wow. Okay, so that's quite a thing. Now, where does your power come from, Maynard? Like, how does obviously Well, let me ask this question a little differently. You know, in large countries that have a contiguous mass,
All
they
right.
can have a couple of good big power generation centers, and then there are wires running and eventually going to the house of people and to power places, right? But Philippines being an island, like does Mindanao have its own power plant?
Yes, yes,
Or
we have our own power plant here.
what does the
The
plant
NG's
run on? What does it run on? Coal, gas?
right now mostly it still runs with coal, but now we're kind of transitioning to solar powers to a green powers right now, since coal is really not a good thing for our environment, you know. So yeah, there's a lot of constructions right now for solar powers here in Mindanao, and
So are
mostly
these, when you say construction, are these large solar facilities or
yes,
like solar in people's houses?
solar companies like big solar farms like that.
Okay, is
But
coming
we
up
run
in, okay,
also with hydrothermal,
I
since there's
see.
a lot of
Okay,
rivers here in the Mindanao.
right, cool. And we talked about, last time we talked about cars and jeepneys and so on and so forth. Do you have like electric cars being sold, like Chinese electric cars are being sold in Philippines?
Yes, actually, here in Davao, we have a lot of EV cars right now. Actually, I just saw last week there's a EV taxi. There's
Hmm,
a EV taxi now. Like I think 5 EV taxis here. But
yeah.
one of the most famous EV cars here in the Philippines is the BYD. BYD is
Hmm.
for them one of the reliable EV cars here in the Philippines.
Now, I wanted to ask you one thing because, last time you mentioned that if you don't have your own car, you get judged and then you have either a jeepney or a car. But also, you mentioned that motorbikes are pretty common. So I think my question to you is, why don't you consider, like, the way you explained it to me, like I understood, like, oh, there's only one option: either take a jeepney or a car. Would you be judged if you drove a motorbike?
Not really, but I think as an Asian parent, they don't want their children riding a bike since it's very dangerous, and that's a thing here in the Philippines. Like, if I ask my parent, like, can I buy a motorcycle, but they would just they might kick me out here in the house. That's what's gonna happen.
So why is it? I mean, I understand why it's dangerous. Like
Yeah.
two wheelers are dangerous, but how dangerous are they in the Philippines? Is like, are the roads crazy? Like, are people driving, like, is there like road discipline in general? Like, is the traffic police
I
enforcing
mean,
rules?
there's traffic rules, but they just don't trust their children. That's how conservative their parents are here in the
Parents
Philippines.
are, yeah. But are there a lot of accidents, road accidents that happen
Yes.
in Philippines?
Every day there's a lot of accidents here in the Philippines. You can
And then
just
when people are driving cars, do people wear seatbelts?
Yes, yes, because it costs
They're
a
they're
lot.
required to. If they don't wear it, will they get fined?
Yeah, they will be fined a lot. Like, I
Okay.
think $100, yeah.
Wow. Oh, wow. That's a lot of money for Philippines. And then
Yeah.
what about helmets? Are people, is it mandatory to wear helmets for both the rider and for the driver and the pillion rider?
Yeah, but that's the cases in the cities. But in the provincial part of the Philippines, like, you can just not wear helmets.
Whatever you want.
Yeah, yeah.
So when do women ride a lot of motorbikes?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, there are a lot of girl
Yeah.
riders here in the Philippines.
Okay. So let's say if a I have a quick question. It's a weird question. So
All right, yeah.
if a man is driving a motorbike and the girl is sitting behind, does she sit across or does she sit with her legs on one side?
That's a good question. It depends on the clothes, actually. It depends on the clothes. If the
Okay. So
girl
if
is
if they're
wearing a
wearing a trouser, they
dress,
will straddle the bike, and if they're wearing a
yeah,
skirt,
yeah.
they will turn and okay, got
Exactly,
it.
exactly, exactly.
And then let's say if you have like three kids, right? Will they put everybody onto a motorbike and go? Does that happen?
No, actually, there are rules here in the Philippines where you can only have one person as a passenger
What
in
about,
the motorbike.
so you can't have your child stand in the front?
No, you can't do it.
That's great because like you should see other places in the world. Like people have like, so there's a husband and then the wife, right, sitting in the back seat, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
one kid is kind of, and this is for a scooter, right, not a bike, but even in a bike, they'll have the youngest kid sit in the front, and then one in the middle of the husband and wife, and then they'll have like groceries and like things they're
Damn,
like carrying, and like it's all going, man, like
that's so dangerous, bro. That's so dangerous.
so.
you're
uh
you're
no, but
putting
it's
everyone
like
at risk.
it's like crazy. Like people have like 4 or 5 people in a bike. It used to be the case even in India till I think some time ago, and now they've really clamped down. And if you have like, I think more than, I think now in India, if you have more than two kids driving on a bike, I think you get, or I think it's only two people are allowed now, and everyone has to wear a helmet. So
Yeah.
hallelujah for that. That's great. What are the typical speeds? What are the typical speeds at which people drive a car?
Here in the city, around 4 kilometers per hour to 60 kilometers per hour. But if you go to the provincial part, you can go around 60 kilometers per hour to 80 kilometers per hour. But as Filipinos, we don't we don't
Care
listen
about
to
any
that.
of that? Yeah, we drive at whatever speed we like, right?
Yeah.
Do you have good highways across Philippines, like good road connections in Mindanao, and are the roads in good condition? Like, do they have a lot of holes in them, speed breakers, bumps?
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot. since
There's a
most
lot.
of them
Yeah.
are kind of new.
All
Kind
right.
of new since Mindanao is kind of developing, still
Very fast.
developing.
Very
Yeah, yeah,
fast.
yeah.
Awesome. Great. I think this is all the time we have for this episode, but we are going to go exploring a little more about food. We love food.
Yeah.
In the next session, Maynard, I'm
Right.
going to we're going to go deep diving into food culture in Philippines, because food is my favorite, and I remember
Right.
you showing me some of those stalls, and I want to like explore that. So thank you for this. And
All
if
right.
you want to listen to the next session where we discover what Filipino food is like, hit the follow or the subscribe if you're on YouTube or Spotify. Thank you, Menad.
All right. Thank you, Joseph.
You've been listening to Planet Neighbors, where every voice brings our world a little closer. Follow us on Spotify or YouTube, or if you'd like to share your own story, message us on Instagram, TikTok, or on our website at www.planetneighbors.com. You might just be our next neighbor.